This video will cover the topic, writing an equation of a line given the y-intercept and another point. In this topic, we may be given a graph that looks like this. From this graph, we will be asked to calculate the slope and identify the y-intercept in order to write the equation of the line.
What is the y-intercept?
The y-intercept is the point on the graph where the line crosses the y-axis. This point is denoted by the form 0, y, where y represents the y-coordinate on the graph. Where does the line cross the y-axis on the example graph shown here?
The line crosses at 0, -1, but how does that help me find the equation of the line?
Recall the slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. b is also known as the y value of the y-intercept. So by finding the y-intercept at 0, -1, we know that b in the slope-intercept equation is -1.
Okay, I understand how to find the y-intercept now, but what's the next step to find the equation of the line?
Next, we need to find the slope of the line using the rise over run slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
How do we know what numbers to use in that equation?
Good question. Let's take a look at the graph. We can see that 2 points are marked on this graph, so we should write down the coordinates of those 2 points. We already established the y-intercept is 0, -1, so let's use that coordinate as our first point, x1, y1. Let's use our second point as the red marked point at coordinate 2, -7. So now we will substitute our values into the slope formula, resulting in -7 minus a -1 over 2 minus 0.
Does this mean that when we simplify, we'll have -6 over 2 for our slope, which reduces to -3?
That's right. The slope is -3, and this value is represented by m in the slope-intercept formula. So now that we have both m and b, we can fill the formula with y equals -3x minus 1, which is our final answer.
So we need to look at the graph to find the coordinate of the y-intercept, then choose another point on the line. We use these 2 points to calculate the slope of the line in the rise over run formula. We then substitute the resulting m, slope, and b, y-intercept, into the equation of the line in y equals mx plus b format.
That's right.